Well, we have Pasco at the beginning of the season.
At the very beginning of the season where they're just stocking it to stock it to basically get ready.
I mean, we were due for our winter.
Yeah.
Because we haven't had one in years.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We bought a snow blower secondhand in 2016.
What's that?
Okay,
So,
start the meeting at 9:05.
excellent.
Sam,
All right.
if you would call the roll, please.
Sure. From Chester, Cindy Lignar.
Morning.
Good morning. From Clinton, Michelle Bienvenia. She is not expected. Cromwell, Anthony Salvatore.
Here.
Okay. Deep River, Carol Doak Jones.
Here.
Durham, Brendan Ray. I don't see him. East Haddam, Todd Gelston.
Here.
Welcome. East Hampton, David Cox.
I'm here.
Essex, Carrie Duquesne. She is here. I see her that she's in the meeting. Haddam, Sean Donlan.
Sorry, couldn't unmute myself fast enough.
Hey, Carrie. And just someone on my RiverCOG team, if someone could join into Teams, people are joining on the Teams link. So please, if someone could hang out at the Teams meeting just to direct people in the right direction. So thank you. Eric Killingworth, Eric Couture.
Oh.
Lime, Christine Erica Zelik. I don't see her. Middlefield, Bobby Amartino. I don't see him at the meeting yet. Middletown, Gino Serra. I don't see him. Old Lyme, Martha Shoemaker. Are you here, Martha? I don't see her. Old Sabre, Carl Fortuna.
I'm here.
Portland, Michael Pelton. He is here. I did see him come in. And last but not least, Westbrook, John Hall.
Good morning.
Good morning. Also from the MPO is Joe Comerford here. I don't see him, but Brendan Garrity is here who will give the ETD report. And from the Middlesex Chamber, Darlene Briggs.
Good morning.
Good morning, Darlene. We also have Jennifer Brady from Federal Highway Administration. And we also have two representatives from Connecticut DOT. We have Michael Salter, and we also have our new coordinator. Where are you?
Sam, I'll also just mention that Brendan Ray and Martha Shoemaker are also in the teams coming over, so should have two more folks tomorrow. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And then we also have Ricky Milliner, who is our new DOT coordinator. Yesterday, Grayson Wright, our long time coordinator, actually, he's been my coordinator my entire career at COGS in Connecticut, retired after over 30 years of service. So he will be missed. And that's it for our transportation partners. We also have, we have Julia McGrath from Representative Courtney's office. We have, who else do we have? Do we have Aaron McBride from Senator Murphy's office and Ellen Graham from Senator Blumenthal's office? We have Olivia Chetcuti from Demis. And let's see, we have Michael Heelan from FHI Studio, who's our consultant on our SS4A Regional Safety Action Plan. And I think that is it for guests. If I didn't call your name, please. Oh, Brendan Ray from Durham, welcome. If I didn't call your name, please introduce yourself. And I'll just introduce staff. Sam Gold. We also have Megan Juflis, Kevin Armstrong, Vicki Harris, Marcos Gonzalez. Let's see, Sally Rothenhouse, and Jake Capabianco from RiverCOG, Brendan Garrity. Anyone else I've missed? Oh, Janice Erlemeyer and Rob Harrimet. And if I've missed anyone, please feel free to introduce yourself. Welcome, Martha.
Margot Burns is also in the office, Sam.
Great. Welcome, Margot.
Martha Shoemaker, joining late. Sorry.
Not a problem. Sorry about the confusion. And I think that's it for roll call and introductions, Mr. Chair.
Okay, hey, Sam, without objection from the council, would you send a letter off to Grayson, thanking him for his years of service and his service to the COG?
Great. Yeah, no, I will happily send him a letter congratulating him on his retirement and thanking him for his service to the COG and to the state.
Thank you. Okay, moving on, Regional Election Advisor, Carol.
Yeah, so Carol had a conflict this morning. Her report was that she is working with the town registrars on the new voter database. There's been some delays associated with that, and she's using that downtime to be able to do some more training. Unfortunately, she had a conflict today, but she's trying to bring a training session to Middlesex County. So there'll be something nearby for the registrars to participate in.
Okay, thank you. Susie Demis.
Susie is dealing with a car delay with her daughter. I think a car off the road, possibly. Everyone's fine, but why don't we turn it over to Demis to give the report?
Fine, thank you. And
Hey, go ahead, Olivia.
Olivia, go ahead, please.
Good morning. Thank you so much. So just a couple quick updates. The REPT and the REPT Steering Committee meetings occurred last Friday on the 20th. The first selectman, Matt Hoey, and Michael Frieda were reelected as the REPT chair and vice chair. And Deputy Chief Scott Bisson and Chief Mike Show were reelected as the REPT Steering Committee chair and vice chair. Demis has accepted the fiscal year 2025 Homeland Security Grant Program and will make sub-applications available very soon. We have not accepted the EMPG, which is the Emergency Management Performance Grant, as there is a partial government shutdown and DHS shutdown. Registration for the 2026 CCM Emergency Management Symposium is now open and available on the CCM website. The severe weather protocol for the cold weather has been extended until Thursday. We have been receiving many requests for assistance in procuring salt for the road, and Demis is working with our partners at the DOT and the suppliers to provide up-to-date guidance. At this time, the state does not have a reserve of salt to distribute. Municipalities who are in need of salt are encouraged to contact their supplier or distributor to see if they can pick up an order rather than having it delivered. Municipalities can also try to utilize the state contract to procure salt. Any information, contact the regional office for the state contract. Demis continues to work with our state and municipal partners to develop a statewide targeted violence and terrorism prevention program. A municipal TVTP strategy template has been finalized and is expected to be distributed in the coming weeks. This document has been developed to help municipalities achieve the requirements established in the Public Act 23-24, which requires a local emergency operation plan, or LEOP, to include a domestic terrorism prevention plan annex. Additional information and resources will be available soon. Towns are encouraged to work with each other while developing a strategy. I'm not sure if Deputy Chief Kane is on, but Deputy Chief Kane has been working with Demis as well to talk more about it. And if you are working on the RESP, hope you have done, we're working on the RESP, and which is the Regional Emergency Support Plan, and we are working on updating it. We are hoping to have updated it for the August REPT meeting or possibly sooner. And we are looking to distribute it for feedback or information or guidance on it. That is the end of my update. I don't know about you, but I really hope spring is in the air very, very soon because I am done with the snow.
I have a question.
Amen on that. Any questions for Olivia?
Thank you, Tony. Yes, question.
Carol?
I have a question, Todd Gelston.
Okay, hold up. Let's see here. Todd, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. You mentioned a salt shortage. What's the root cause of maybe this is a dumb question, I don't know, but what's the root cause of the salt shortage?
So from what I understand and what I've heard, I guess the supplier, there's a barge that is stuck in a harbor somewhere. I'm not sure where, that's stuck in ice and cannot physically make it into the harbor. So they've been having to do small boats in and out of the harbor to get the salt in. I have not heard if they ended up getting the harbor or the barge into the harbor or not. But that's what I heard.
Hmm.
Okay, thank you, Carol.
So Olivia, can I just ask, so we had quite that storm. So I think it was Sunday evening. So Demis was sending us those updates like every hour or every 2 hours, and then it said click to acknowledge, right? So I was up till 2 in the morning, click to acknowledge. Then I fell asleep for a couple hours. So I didn't click to acknowledge at like 3, 4, 5 or something. And then got back on at 6 a.m. Does that somehow make Deep River look like we're not ready to go or something? Like, how is that? I just felt guilty that I hadn't been clicking on all these every hour, but I just was wondering if you could give me a little insight of why, like click to acknowledge. I get that general concept that you want to make sure that towns are, appreciating and responding, but can you just tell us like the overnight ones, like, are you looking for these small towns to always have somebody available clicking on those or?
So I'm not sure exactly what we do with the data, but from my understanding, I don't think we're holding you to the flame for clicking on that acknowledged data. I think we're just looking to see who has gotten it, making sure that you got the information. But we're not faulting you or penalizing you for not clicking on that. I think the biggest thing, as long as you're getting the information, I think that's the biggest thing in this respect.
I didn't want it to hurt us if we put in for a grant or something later on, if you use that data, so.
Nope. I can assure you we do not look at that data when we're considering grant applications or grant money.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else with a
Yes.
question?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I have another question.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
The salt barge is stuck in ice. Why didn't somebody call the Coast Guard and send an icebreaker up? Is my question.
Again, that's a great question. And again, I'm not sure exactly where the barge was stuck. I don't know if it was in our harbor or what harbor it was. But definitely, if you want more information, you can send an email to me and Nicole, and we can try to send it to the person that probably has more information than I do.
Okay, because salt is very precious to me.
I agree.
As well as other people in other towns. Thank you very much. I'll send you an email.
Thank you. And if you don't have my email, I'm sure that somebody on this meeting has it, or we can connect offline.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I see Brendan Ray has his hand raised.
Brendan, go ahead, please.
Just while we're on the subject of salt, this is our second year with the same problem. Two different vendors. We have Morton now, and we had Cargill last year, and it just I don't know if it's worth thinking about some sort of reserve for the COG somewhere where we could get the salt. Being 2 years in a row, and last year wasn't even as crazy as this year. It's been a problem.
That's a good idea, except we would have to have a storage shed to put it in because there are restrictions on how you handle it and store it. So perhaps we can look into it, and but I know you need a storage shed for it.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Margot.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
this is Margot,
Yeah,
and
go ahead.
this could be a consideration for the regional projects for the natural hazard mitigation plan to include some type of regional collaboration or storage facility or something for salt.
Okay, perhaps we can look into that also. Anyone else? Okay, moving on. Rob, would you like to introduce our speaker for today?
Yeah, sure, I can do that. Let's see here. Back in 2022, when IIJA bill came out, there's a new discretionary program called the Safe Streets and Roads for All grants. SS4A for short. This was to create a comprehensive action plan to apply for future implementation grants under this and other programs. The action plan needed to be in place before you could apply for implementation grants. Pretty much the SS4A plan is kind of similar to the Regional Transportation Safety Plan, but updates the 15 to 19 crash data with 19 to 23 crash data and follows the Safe Systems approach rather than the Strategic Highway Safety Plan as the precursor did. The grant was awarded in 2023. You may remember that was the first round, both federally and in the state, and Senator Blumenthal came out for a press event, so that was nice. We began work with FHI and VHB in 2024. So about for the last 2 years, both the COG and the consultant and the advisory committee have been working on this plan. The final draft is complete and was sent out in your package along with the appendices. So with that, I will turn it over to Michael for the third and final presentation to the MPO board.
Michael, go ahead.
Yeah, so it says host disabled participant screen sharing. If I could have access to the screen share, that'd be great. Okay, let's see, it looks like that might work. Yes, it does. Okay, great. Good to see everyone. I have a very brief presentation. I see a lot of familiar faces on this call, so many of you are very familiar with this project as it's been going on for the last almost 2 years. So this is the third and final presentation, the main focus really being the motion for these resolutions, which are an essential component of this planning effort. So I'll provide a brief project overview, including vision goals, discussion of the comprehensive safety action plan, the municipal profiles, and then get into the letters of commitment. So as far as what this project is and does, so this is part, as Rob mentioned, of the Safe Streets and Roads for All program, which is a fantastic program that the Federal Highway Administration has been administering to really look to prevent deaths and serious injuries on the nation's roadways. There is a very strong focus in this program on what we call vulnerable road users, so people who are walking and biking. For that reason, this is a program that's limited to all roadways, all public roadways that are not limited access highways. So this excludes Route 9, I-91 and I-95 in your areas and any private roads. So otherwise, all other roads are included, including state roads. So as far as vision and goals go, there is a real need to have a Vision Zero commitment. Vision Zero meaning a target date for achieving zero roadway fatalities and serious injuries, or at least an ambitious percentage reduction of roadway fatalities and serious injuries by a specified date. This is something that needs to be an official public commitment by a high-ranking official or governing body. When it comes to this particular plan, what we settled on is to eliminate fatalities and serious injuries on regional roadways by 2045. So this is in keeping with a lot of other similar regions throughout the nation, as well as something that we think is achievable just from looking at the data. So we're encouraging all municipalities within the region to really adhere to this goal and align their safety initiatives with Vision Zeros. This project itself is going to go a long way in positioning municipalities with identified projects that can be sought after through the SS4A, the Safe Streets and Roads for All program funding, as well as other funding sources. And in keeping with federal guidance, this really applies what's called the safe system approach, which you see the graphic on the right, which really thinks of death and serious injuries on our roadways as unacceptable, recognizing that humans make mistakes and that humans are vulnerable, and also that responsibility is really shared. So it's not just about the policymakers or the engineers, the planners, or the individuals on the roadways. It's really a collective approach to thinking about safety. When it comes to the action plan itself, what we look to do is prioritize opportunities to improve safety and accessibility of the regional transportation system for all users, not just drivers, but people who are walking and biking and taking transit as well. We really look to convene regional partners, statewide partners, public stakeholders, local organizations, and any private interests to collaborate on some of these solutions. And then last, and this is a really important one for a lot of your communities, improving the data monitoring and reporting so that we can document progress going forward. So when it comes to the Comprehensive Safety Action Plan, the actions themselves, the recommendations really fit into 3 buckets. Safe design, which is a real focus on infrastructure and particularly prioritizing infrastructure that has a documented history of crashes. Policies and practices, so things like complete streets policies would fit into this. And then within any given safety planning effort, there's this understanding that the responsibility is shared. So thinking about education, enforcement, and other resources to help reduce speeds and the potential for serious crashes. Last, this data monitoring, which is primarily focused on the data monitoring tool that we developed. So I won't go through all of these, but you can see here just a snapshot of what it looks like in the plan. We've got projects that are identified of particular importance from a safety perspective, as well as those we heard kind of from the public, and any kind of transportation need and access concerns that were raised, but a lot of different components pertaining to safe infrastructure design. Policies and recommendations. Many of these are led by municipalities, but RiverCOG and the state also have a role. Education, resources, and enforcement recommendations. And then last, this data dashboard. And I do want to highlight this very briefly. So for those of you who haven't seen it, this is a really useful tool for your future grant applications where you can pull crash data. It's something that will be periodically updated, where you can, look at different safety analysis results. Could be looked at a few different measures. You can pull up the crashes and the crash history. If you would like to see individual communities, so you can look at the full region and some of the data that is showing for the full region, but you can also drop down to, let's just use Clinton, for example, and see individual data sets here. So it is a very useful tool, and it's meant to assist you with your grant application efforts. Another tool that you have available through this plan was we developed municipal profiles. These profiles are meant to really assist you specifically on your future SS4A applications. Having completed some of these grant applications myself, we tried to make this particular tool, which is available in the action plan, as closely mimicking the requirements of those grant applications, so you can really consult this. This is based off of the 2019 to 2023 data, which we believe is going to be the next data request in the upcoming NOFO for the next round of SS4A funding. So just pulling a screen capture here of Durham, you can see the crash profile. Other corridors of concerns, these were either raised through the crash analysis or through the public engagement effort that we did, as well as just additional information that you might need. So that's essentially the plan overview. You can certainly contact Rob or me if you have questions or need assistance interpreting anything. But with that, I will transition to just showing you the 2 resolutions that are a part of this planning effort. And this is something that's really strongly encouraged by the program. The first is specifically about adopting a Vision Zero policy, so setting that goal of 2045. There's an abundance of kind of whereas statements really outlining some of the data and some of the findings from this effort. And then the goal here, this first bullet being probably the most significant, of having that date outlined. And then as well some of the other goals that I already mentioned. And then the other resolution is about adopting the plan. It's a little bit more straightforward. So this is adopting the plan itself with today's date. So with that, Rob, I'll hand it back to you if you have any additional comments. And I don't know if we wanted to open up to questions as well.
Rob, you have anything to say?
Nope. I think most of the board's fairly familiar. This is the 3rd time we've talked about it at many other meetings. Without Michael here as well. We're actually going to have this on the agenda for last month, but with the change of dates, it just wasn't working out, so we pushed it out a month. But other than that, no, if there's any specific questions, could make a motion to adopt the resolutions.
Any specific questions for either Rob or Mike? Yes, Cindy.
Can we have will you be sending a copy of the presentation to us, Michael? Through
Sure,
RiverCOG?
absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks. And Chester is starting, and Rob was part of the first meeting, Chester Vision Zero. So we're really excited about this, and formatting this information is very helpful to us as we begin to structure our program here. So it's exciting. Thank you.
That's great.
Okay.
Yes,
go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, as an outcome of that meeting, that is now why we have the pull down menus for the individual towns for the graphs in the data dashboard, because we initially didn't have that, and we thought that would be very helpful. So,
thanks, Rob. Anyone else?
Tony,
go ahead.
Just it was good to be part of the process. I thought it was informative, and we highlighted a few areas in Old Saybrook that seemed to be problematic. It's hard to believe that we'll get there, but I hope at some point we are able to fix the high conflict areas. But it's a good program. And are there two resolutions or one?
Two.
There are two. Okay.
Yes.
So make sure we're taking them separately, right?
We are.
Okay.
And they're both in your packet.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. So the first resolution is on the Vision Zero, and that is in your packet. Does anyone wish to make a motion?
I'll move. Or
okay, Carl made the motion, and who seconded it?
I'll second it.
Eric. Okay, we have a motion to approve the resolution as is in your packet, authorizing our secretary to go ahead and sign it. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, the second resolution is on the SS4A plan. Again, it's in your packet. Any discussion? I'll take a motion to approve.
I'll move it.
Second?
I'll second it.
Okay, Cindy. Further discussion? Any questions? Seeing none, again, I'll take the motion is to approve the resolution as presented in your packet, authorizing our secretary to go ahead and sign it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Rob and Mike. At this time, I'm going to ask any information from our congressional offices. Senator Blumenthal's office.
Good morning, everyone. So we have a budget, well, except for DHS, but hopefully something will be worked out soon for that. So you have heard about your correctly directed spending. We're reaching out to you currently to congratulate and set up any sort of events. And then I will just note that it looks like we will be requesting start the process for next budget cycle for CDS in the next 2 weeks. So you can expect something from me. You can also go into our website to sign up for notifications about that. That's all I have.
Thank you. Any questions for Senator Blumenthal's office? Senator Murphy. Oh, wait a minute. Carl, do you have a question?
Yeah. So we look at this every year, this congressionally directed spending, because obviously it's a haul if you get it. It's good stuff. And I know there's a congressionally directed spending FAQ for dummies that you guys put out every year, and I read it, and boy, I have a hell of a time finding a project. So yet towns are getting this, and then I see what they get it for, and it feels like, oh, I could have gotten it for that. But I feel like there is a little bit of at least from my perspective, and I've had other people, it's not just me. Sometimes I think it's just me, but it's not just me. I have other people smarter than me read it, and they're like, yeah, we don't have any projects that fit the bill. And maybe there's a couple projects that I'd like to identify that maybe we could talk to the senator's office about and say, would this fit anywhere? Have you seen this in the past? Okay, and that's where I struggle with it because it's awesome stuff if you can get it. Secondly, and this is not COG business, I just want to say thank you to Ellen and the senator for signing off on our letter for the the Port Authority grant that we applied for. So, but anyway, I just wanted to mention that on the congressionally directed spending.
Yeah, no, that is a great point. So if you have any sort of project or anything that you're curious about, just please reach out to one of us. We all do it in our offices. And then I am not the expert, but I will, loop you in with my colleagues in DC who are, the experts on this. And they can tell you, please reach out to us. We're happy to spend some time with you to go over anything like that.
So we're going to get an email from you in the next couple of weeks. Okay, great.
Yes.
I'll probably reach out. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else with a question? Okay, Senator Murphy's office.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Can you hear me? Sorry,
Yes.
I'm a little sick. So I guess I just kind of reiterate Ellen's message with congressional directed spending. Our offices will also be doing a webinar. So information for that date and time will be going out soon. On the note of congressional directed spending, I'll mention that my colleague Jake from DC recently transitioned to our Connecticut office. He is our Federal Strategic Engagement Director. So previously he worked on the appropriations and congressional directed spending process in DC for Senator Murphy. So we've been going in different parts of the state with different people on our outreach team, having meetings one-on-one about congressional directed spending. So if anyone is interested, Jake's a phenomenal resource. We just met with both Groton City and Groton Town. We're meeting with some Northeastern Connecticut folks next week. So if you would like to have a meeting with our office and talk with Jake, someone that's, seen the congressional directed spending process firsthand about what the committee looks for, we're happy to do that. But kind of what Ellen said, I think any of our offices can be helpful on the phone, in person, via email, whatever you need. But the process, we know it can feel like a lot, especially when you see these big dollar sums being awarded to other towns or nonprofits. And then I think that's all for congressional directed spending. I think the other thing I'll add is some of you may got my email about Senator Murphy's annual Martin Luther King Jr. essay contest. We've extended the deadline to Friday given all the snow days. So if any students in your town would like to submit an essay, we encourage it. There's 3 winners from each congressional district, one from elementary, one from middle school, and one from high school. And all the winners get invited to a breakfast ceremony with the senator. It's a really nice occasion, and it's a great way to kind of contribute to history and what they view as how they align with this Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy. But I think that's all. If you have any questions, as always, reach out to our office. The build grant has now officially closed, but I know that we had gotten some letters of support that were sent out to some of you. But yeah, otherwise we'll continue to keep you posted via email with any updates. And as always, please don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions.
Any question for Senator Murphy's office? Representative Courtney.
Good morning. So as Ellen and Aaron highlighted, 11 out of 12 appropriation bills for fiscal year 26 have been passed into law. Like Olivia said, the Department of Homeland Security remains in shutdown. I don't really have a projection at this point in time when that will be resolved. For this body, the impacts to probably acknowledge are FEMA disaster relief. If you are waiting on any for any point in time, will likely come in slower. It may also disrupt some long-term planning stuff. And I think probably the longer this goes on, the more we'll see an impact. Additionally, TSA, there will be travel delays, everyone's favorite. And then CISA will be limited to essential functions. That's a Cyber Infrastructure and Security Administration. I have also included a breakdown of key funding levels in the report that I sent to Vicky. If you want more information on that. While all this is going on, we are also working on the 2026 reauthorization of the Water Resources Development Act, or WRDA. We have submitted a request for environmental infrastructure authorization for flood mitigation and stormwater management for the RiverCOG region. This is a very early point in time for this process. Essentially, what will come of this is right now it is being evaluated by the appropriate committees to see if they will include our requests within the actual text of the bill. If these authorizations pass, then it puts a list of eligible activities on a list that Congress has now been authorized to provide funding for. So an authorization is not an appropriation, but it puts you on the path to appropriation. If anyone has questions about that, I'm happy to talk about that further. I also included the proposed legislative text and then kind of a little more detail on what it is this addresses in my report. Additionally, the text of the Farm Bill, the 2026 Farm Bill, has been released. It's been a long time since we've done a Farm Bill, I think 2018, so this is exciting. And there is a markup on March 3rd, if anyone is interested. I've also included some other really noteworthy, in my opinion, legislation in the report that I think you guys should definitely have on your radar. And then a couple things to flag there. The General Services Administration has proposed some changes to SAM.gov certification that they are currently requesting public comment on through March 30th. I would encourage you to go check that out. I have some stuff linked in my report, but if you need any help finding the right place, let me know. Sam, last meeting you asked about BRIC. And I included some information, but there has been one small development since then. So back in December, federal court ruled that the termination of the program was unlawful. At the time, FEMA officials acknowledged this ruling and said they intended to reverse actions of termination, including I would assume, earlier that year they testified that they'd moved BRIC funding into the disaster relief fund. So I would assume that would mean, rescinding that funding back and putting it in the right place. As of today, we have not seen any movement on this at all. On February 17th, the 20 states, including Connecticut, that filed the original suit have filed a motion asking the court to enforce the ruling from December. So we will see what comes from that. But that is essentially, BRIC continues to kind of be up in the air and caught up in an interesting legal tug of war.
And let me just explain this to the members.
Yes.
RiverCOG got a grant through FEMA, through Connecticut DEMIS, for the update for 15 of our town's natural hazard mitigation plans. And that project is, of course, important, and it's proceeding. We got paid on one small invoice from DEMIS, and then no further payments. Our timing should have been good because we got everything signed before the new administration took office, and it was being drawn down. But all that has been paused out of fear that the money might not be there. We were able to work with our partners at DOT to line up transportation planning money out of our Unified Planning Work Program to be able to pay for this work. And so we have a parallel funding source in case those bills never get paid through DEMIS. But unfortunately, with the not knowing who's going to pay the bill, it causes problems for us, particularly for the second year of our transportation planning program, because we don't know if that money is being used on salary on another transportation project or this. And so it does cause some difficulties for us. And we're sort of bankrolling, FEMA here because it's coming out of our fund balance. Either way, it will be paid for. But the project was important enough that we felt that it should continue regardless. So, so that's where we stand.
Yeah, and we certainly, unfortunately, will not see any resolution on that until this DHS shutdown concludes. Because right now they are very much FEMA is really functioning at quite a decreased percentage of operations of what they normally are. Just a couple other things. Last meeting, I'd mentioned this rumor of funding suspension floating around that Connecticut was potentially on the list for. So far, no signs of any suspension. I am hoping we just stay smooth sailing in that sense. Again, if anyone gets any, notifications that concern them, feel free to share. But so far, so good. And then I guess the last thing I have is, Aaron and Ellen mentioned the congressionally directed spending on the House side. We have, community project funding, which is the same thing, just different name. And we just received our committee guidance at 9:03 this morning, so I haven't read it yet. But I will certainly also, we will be following up with information as well. The House process is a little bit more restrictive than the Senate. As you all know, we have a project limit of how many projects we can submit for consideration, and then some spending cap limits that limit how much we can ask for. However, I do think that we have an expanded list of accounts to choose from this year, which is exciting. We can maybe get some different projects in there. Lately, we've had a tough time with getting the total request amount that we ask for because the accounts are just limited and everyone's asking for money from the same accounts. And so, they've been cut. So I'm hopeful that this will let us diversify requests more and get the full amount that we're asking for. Again, I will have more information once I read the guidance, but I feel like it always comes up really fast, but here we are again. But that is it from me for today.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? All right, thank you very much. Seeing none. Moving on, we'll do the MPO business and the approval of the minutes from January 29th. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Dave, second?
Second.
Okay. Any corrections?
Yeah, you are, because it's all whole year.
Okay. Any corrections or seeing none? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Rob, without objection from the council members, we'll do B1 through 8. Okay, seeing none, Rob, would you do 1 through 8, please?
Yeah, sure. It's a lot of individual line items, but it's really not as confusing as it looks. With your agenda packet, I did send out the project webpage for 82-318, which is the removal of the traffic lights on Route 9. As a side note, also there you can find information on the
Hey, Loretta.
Route 17 northbound project, the breakout projects of the bump out St. John's Square improvements and safety improvements in the north end, as well as the fairly new pedestrian bridge project. So all that information's there if you're interested on other things going on in Route 9 in Middletown. Basically, this project's been going on for probably 10 or 15 years. The current location is from roughly exit 22 in Silver Street in Middletown to exit 25, Route 99 in Cromwell. Pretty much this amendment is really just an administrative requirement, moving projects from one year to another and revising funding sources with no change to the total cost. which the total cost estimate currently remains at 143,680,000. That's total. Okay, for the individual line items, we do have 8, as was mentioned. This is Middletown Project, Route 9, 82,318. The first 4 line items use NHPP, National Highway Performance Funding. The second, or the final 3 are SDPH, the Surface Transportation Program Hartford funding. CC means they have all been modeled for air quality. The formal names, removal of traffic signals on Route 9. This is all for construction phases. The first line item is 1.2 million. It's an AC conversion, and it's a deleting of the 2026 AC conversion. The second line item adds a new AC entry for 0, which moves that from 2026 to 2027. The third line item decreases the 2027 cost estimate by 20.4 million. Fourth line item decreases the 2028 cost estimate from 27 million. And the fifth line item increases the FYI year by 46 million. So it basically just kind of covers the difference there. The next 3 are the STPH funding. Again, the 2026 AC conversion for 12.5 million is deleted. The AC entry of 0 is moved from 26 to 27. And in 2028, the 1.25 million is basically returned. So this is really all for financial constraint. With the package, I did send out a detailed information, but basically the simple version is the construction phases are deleted in FY26 for NHPP and STPH. The project moves from 26 to 27 with the AC entry, and just the fund is moving between years. But overall, there is no project change. I don't know if there's any specific questions.
Any questions for Rob on items B1 through 8? Okay, seeing none, we need a motion to approve B1 through 8.
So moved.
Dave, second.
Second.
Brendan, okay. We have a motion to approve. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, Rob, other transportation issues?
Yep, just a few dates to remember, and then another item. The microgrant applications are due on the March 20th. You may recall last year the program ran out of funds in the third quarter, so there was no fourth quarter solicitations. So probably applying early is a good idea. I did send out a link in the packet to the website that does have the guidance and applications. So that's out there. 5310 applications are due March 31st. Again, the public notice needs to be in the paper by March 6th, which is coming soon. I did send out the link to that program as well in the packet. Trip applications, that's Transportation Rural Assistant Programs, are due May 1st. NOFO was sent out by Mike Salter on the 13th, so the eligible towns should have received that. Again, I did send out the link to the project website. If people are interested, who aren't, the eligible towns. And finally, there's the MTP Air Quality Survey. I don't think I had mentioned this at the last board meeting, but I'll be sending that to all the municipalities to fill out, basically to submit projects for the MTP update. This is especially important for major projects, that would need to be included in the MTP and looked at by the DOT's Air Quality Modeling Unit. Within probably later this week or early next week, I will send that survey out as well as the list of all the projects that each town had submitted for the 2023 MTP. So you can compare that and see if there was anything new you wanted to add. And basically, we could probably talk individually to all the towns offline on that as well. I can also send out a link to the current 23 MTP because there is also, as well as the formal projects that are listed in there. There is a wish list of project as well. Hopefully we can make that smaller and move more of the projects into this area. But like I said, I'll put together a package and send that out to everybody and it can be discussed then. We do have a little bit of time, but hopefully we can, I think the date was, I can't remember, June or July, but if we can get that earlier, like April or May, we'll be in good shape. But like I said, I'll send out further information and we can get moving there as well.
Okay. Any questions for Rob? Okay, thanks, Rob. Brendan, the transit district.
Sure thing. Yeah, so we've been working on our bus stop installation project. We've met with most of the towns at this point, so it's been great to hear from. A few towns we still need to hear from our bus stops, but otherwise it's been going pretty well. Been working with had some really good tours and meetings with several different towns, so it's been going well. We're also working with our contractors. The contractors are working on getting state road approval as well, so we seem to be making some good progress there. And as the weather improves in the next couple months, we'll hopefully start to install some more bus stop signs as the snow melts. When it comes to SS4A, as was Purpose mentioned, there was also an individual corridor safety plan in Middletown. So we've been working on helping out with that, providing some information. Their study area encompasses many of our major bus routes. So we're giving them different ridership data and route data for them to utilize for their plan. Also, probably most relevant or recent for us is the microtransit. So it's been going very well. First off, ridership continues to do well. In Middletown, it's been incredible. East Hampton's had a nice bounce back recently, and Madison Guilford's also continuing to just consistently do very strong. The only issue is that funding is potentially threatened. It could come to a close come June 2026. So in a couple months here. However, good news is that a bill has been introduced. It was introduced earlier in February by our transportation chair, Christine Cohen, on the state. She and many co-sponsors. So we are now in the process of collecting testimony. So we've been asking our riders, any CEOs. Sorry for the background noise here. Any CEOs for any support. So it's been doing well. And we're getting lots of testimony. We'll continue to try to get more testimony as that's going forward. Public hearing date is March 2nd, Monday. So we're working to try and get that going. So hopefully we'll get as much testimony as we can. Yeah. Again, I apologize for the background noise. And then finally, expansion ridership continues strong. So our ridership from our expansion of weeknight, Saturday night, and Sunday service continues to do really well. We're averaging between about 300 riders every Sunday, which is great. So we're seeing a lot of good people utilize the services that we increased a couple years ago. So that's going well. So our big push here is getting testimony from any town CEOs, any riders, any people in town to help with that. So people can submit testimony right online at the website there. So we appreciate any help with that.
Any questions for Brendan?
See, Carol has her hand raised.
Carol?
Yeah, Brendan, hi. So after all that snow, everybody's having trouble digging out, but we have right outside my window, actually across the street at Adams, there's that station picking up. And I had one of your bus drivers kind of complain that with the snow, she's picking up riders in the road. I've talked to our DPW and they said they don't typically plow that out. Adams said they don't typically do it. So I'm just kind of wondering, how do I get that done? They told me their recollection was that River Valley Transit actually had your own little plow truck that would go around. So is that something you guys are going to clear? Because we do have people waiting kind of on the other side of the snowbank in the road now for the buses. So it's a safety concern. Just wanted to point that out. I didn't know if that's something you would take charge of, calling DOT, if it's a DOT thing, or so if you can kind of shed some light on how you want me to handle that.
Do you have an answer, Brendan?
Yep. So Joe can correct me if I'm wrong too, but so we typically don't plow any signs or bus stops. That's usually can either be towns will often do it or some towns won't, but we don't have the capability or staff to go around plowing all those stops. Did I speak out of turn there, Joe? Does that sound about right?
That's right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Sounds like an SS4A action plan issue.
Is our DOT liaison on?
I know the state won't do it. That's an issue we're having with the state right now. They don't touch, they don't shovel, they don't do any bus stops or even their own. They do not do.
Michael, you want to say anything?
No, that is correct. The DOT doesn't do the bus stops.
So I
Okay.
guess it's up to the town if you wish to clear them.
Okay, so it sounds like a little bit of a stalemate going on. Okay, thank you. I just wanted the answer, so thank you.
Okay. All right. Anyone else?
It's not a stalemate. They don't do it. Thank you.
You lose.
I didn't
No,
want to.
I meant to stalemate from everyone I've talked to, Carl.
They don't do sidewalks. They don't do any of that. And we all have these state roads with sidewalks on them that are not in front of a property owner's house. And it's difficult. I mean, I'm sure we're all getting the same calls on everything saying, I can't walk on the sidewalks. These are not cleared. And quite frankly, at this point, they ain't getting cleared, probably not by us, not by anybody until it melts. It's just too much at this point.
Yeah, thank you.
Carol, just so you know.
Thank you, Carl. Anyone else?
Carol,
Martha?
Yeah, Carol, I had to have my public works go in on our little bus area on 156 and clear it because the neighbors down there were complaining. So they went in and spent a day, but it's, as I say, it's like on day 3 of cleanup, not day 1 or 2.
Right, and that's what I thought. But again, our DPW said, "Oh, we've never done it." Adam said, "We've never done it." But we do all the sidewalks. We just didn't do, But the state, as soon as you clear it, chucks more snow. So, and their snow is just so heavy. It's like bricks, Anyway, well, thank you.
Sounds like the argument my residents every time our plow truck goes by their driveway. Okay. Moving on to COG business. Sally, the audit.
Hi. Audit is still in progress. I understand that we're going to have a meeting with the auditors. I'm hoping that's next week.
No, it's going to be on Friday.
Oh, on Friday?
Yeah, I've been emailing them during the meeting. So I think we're going to do a meeting with the auditors on Friday.
Okay, that's great. I do have another scheduled time with Paula.
Oh, good.
And the last one was extremely helpful. So, so we're going to be going for the last of the extensions and hopefully with Paula's help, we can get this wrapped up.
Okay. Any questions? I think we're all just waiting to hear.
And please extend our thanks to Paula Carroll. Yeah, she's
legislative update. Sam.
All right. So this is supposed to be a short session. Not much is supposed to go on, but of course, there's always things going on. There's been a number of bills that I've submitted testimony on. There was a particularly bad housing bill, Senate Bill 151, which would have set the maximum that lot sizes could be at 5,000 square feet and maximum setbacks of either 10 or 5 feet from the property lines. We submitted testimony in opposition to that. It would impose a one size fits all for the whole state. Of course, that would only be according to the bill, it'd only be places that have sewer and water, which a lot of our region does not have, but it doesn't work in all contexts that have sewer and water either. A couple bills that you should be aware of that have hearings coming up on Friday is Senate Bill 101 and 102. Senate bill, these are the first 101 would increase the meals tax from 7.35% to 8.35%. If everyone remembers, right before COVID in 2019, the meals tax was raised from 6.35 to 7.35. If any sector has been impacted by COVID and inflation, it's food. And although in general, the 1% increase is proposed to go to the municipalities in which those meals are sold. But first of all, it takes a little bit of, confidence the state will remit that money to the towns. But it also, although I think diversifying your tax base is a good thing. I think on the backs of restaurants are already struggling with increased labor and food costs, and also patrons who this is not just fine dining. This is a prepared meal at Big Y. This is a sandwich from a sandwich shop. I have submitted testimony in opposition to that tax increase. The other bill, Senate Bill 102, would create a state property tax on mansions. And although I don't necessarily have a problem with recouping property taxes, particularly from second homeowners or Airbnb, particularly Airbnbs, which are not taxed as commercial, they're taxed as residential by the towns. I think the idea of the state getting into the property tax business is a bad idea. It crowds out the town's abilities to raise revenue, and the state already has income tax and sales tax. The property tax is already oversubscribed to pay for town expenses and to raise taxes in that area. I think is also probably a bad move. So I'll be submitting testimony against that as well.
Sam, what do they describe as what's the description of a mansion?
It's based on value. Let me get that up. I see Carl has a question.
And on top of that, don't we already assess them locally?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So the threshold is the general statute shall be amended to establish a statewide property tax at the rate of 2 mills on residential property with a assessed value of more than $3 million, but less than $5 million. 3 mills on residential property with an assessed value of $5 million, but less than $10 million, and 4 mills on residential real property with an assessed value of $10 million or more. And so right. And also, I think what's also a great oversight here is that it talks about a residential property. It's not talking about a single family house. So let's say you live in an apartment building and that apartment building is valued at $2 million. Well, now your landlord is paying a higher tax rate. The landlord's not going to pay that money. It's going to be the tenants. If you happen to live in a condo tower, let's say in Hartford, and it's worth maybe $5 million. Well, that's going to be assessed to all the condo owners. So the way that this is written, it's not even written to be specific to mansions. It could be to any residential property, which includes apartments or condos. So I think there's a big flaw here, and I think that oversight sort of speaks to how well thought this may be.
Yeah, well, they just got to check the water in Hartford. There's got to be something in it. Carl, you got a question?
Not a question. I submitted testimony against this also. Look, it's a tax on Fairfield County, number one. And if they've looked at assessments all over the state, I mean, everything's gone through the roof. You're going to find houses in Torrington that are assessed more than $3 million. Everywhere you're going to find houses, not in every neighborhood. I'm not saying that that's still a pretty hefty assessment. But I would argue it's a slippery slope because it could be 2 million next year or in 2 years. So it's a bad idea for the state to have a property tax. Once they get their finger in this, I think it's just going to go in one direction. So bad idea. And it's going to depress a certain market that, look, I mean, we have Fenwick. We're a little bit unusual, but there's Black Point over in, East Lyme. There's a bunch of these neighborhoods all over the place, and it will depress that market. I know they don't care about that, but it's a bad idea, and I'm way against this. As I have submitted testimony on a few more bills too that Sam, you had highlighted.
Yeah, and if you believe that the state's not gonna eventually grab that 1%, on
Restaurants, yeah.
restaurants, you're crazy. There used to be a surcharge on traffic tickets that went to the municipalities, and you don't see that today either. They'll just grab that up in a few years and say it's theirs. Anyone else?
There's another bill that I'll raise attention to that we opposed. It's House Bill 5226, an act concerning mobile manufactured homes and mobile manufactured home parks. And the title is somewhat deceptive because the title talks about allowing for that for people in mobile homes to be able to go to a fair rent commission. Under PA 25-1 that passed in November, that's the housing housing bill that came out of the special session. Municipalities with 15,000 or more people are required now to have a fair rent commission. But municipality under 15 can choose to have one. Well, it's my understanding that mobile homes are already covered under that. What this bill does is it would require every COG to set up a fair rent commission, regardless of whether it meets that standard, if there's a mobile home park in your region. And then the town that has that mobile home park would also be required, I guess, to join the regional fair share, the fair rent commission. And currently, a town has the option to set their own or join a regional. Of course, there's no funding for the legal staff you would need to staff a fair rent commission, and there's no funding for obviously defending those decisions. So that would all be charged back to the participating towns in a regional fair rent commission. So yeah, so I wrote language in opposition to that just because you can't have a special session on housing where you pass a law, and then even before that law is fully understood and implemented, you then start passing things that contradict it. So some of the other COGs also submitted testimony in opposition to that bill. But
any questions for Sam?
Yes, this is Todd Gelston.
Go ahead, Todd.
Okay, this is very troubling because we have manufacturing leaving the state as fast as they can, except for people who have high investment like EV, so electric boat. So other people are leaving the state. So the manufacturing jobs are leaving. That loss of income from inventory and from the people working in those businesses. And now the state has a shortage of finances. So looking to transfer that load from a tax load from manufacturing to property. That's what it seems to me here. They have a need to raise more taxes, and now they're looking at property. The trouble with mansions, that is indeed a slippery slope, because what today is a mansion will tomorrow be a single family home, because it's a source of funding. I think I don't know who's dreaming up this baloney, but that should be stopped because it's a wrong direction. What we should be focusing on is investing our money in attracting businesses and manufacturing back to Connecticut like it used to be, rather than try to scratch from the people who live here already who will be leaving. I know a number of people in my town that are pretty fed up with it. Not that they love our town, they want to leave our town, but the situation the state is putting them in, they're going to look to other states to move to. And I think a lot of that's going to happen. And these are people that are making fairly good incomes as well. Somebody, yeah, maybe it's the water, but somebody in the state better exercise some leadership and long-term thinking here as to the direction we're all taking. We have these COGs like we're members of now. We should be doing, I guess the state can't do any long-range thinking. We should start thinking for them and really be strong in our messages and our testimonies. Like frankly, I'm a little behind the eight ball here on this because I don't know about these bills. Unfortunately, I heard about the bill that with the affordable housing bill, Senate Bill 151, I guess it is. And
Yes.
I submitted testimony there, but this is a serious problem, folks. The state is really taking us off in the bad direction, and this is not very intelligent. And I'm trying to figure out how we can wake the state up before it's too late. In fact, it's almost too late now. A lot of good businesses have already left Connecticut, and now we got people, real ordinary, solid people that want to leave as well. And that's really a bad sign. That's my 2 cents. How else can we do? How can we get some intelligence to Hartford? How can we get some intelligence to Hartford?
We should send a letter to all our representatives and express our view.
Oh, I will. And I'll work with the executive committee on that letter.
Okay.
What points we want to make. But thank you, Mr. Gelston. And I just want to add that Vicky will be sending out to you or resending a link. Every year we maintain a bill tracker spreadsheet. And Susie Beckman is updates it daily with bills of interest either to the COG or to the towns. And that tracker spreadsheet has a link to the bill. It has important dates, and it will also have a link to our testimony that we submitted. And so I'll have Vicky send that out to you today, just as a reminder, so you can bookmark that page or just bookmark that email and keep checking. Of course, many of you are members of COST. All of you are members of CCM. They send out their legislative updates as well, but the more the more information, the better.
Thank you,
Stan. I thought the rainy day fund was flush. What's the story here?
Yeah, I don't know what's driving these taxes. I think the idea here is that maybe Senate Bill 101 and 102 are meant to be looked at together. So, oh, look, the state gets a part of the property tax and you get part of the meals tax, but it's not like you're getting part of the meals tax. The meals tax is being hiked to give the towns money. And so it would be a different thing as if the state was going to say, okay, we're going to do a swap here. Instead, they're talking about a tax increase. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what's driving this besides just a desire to tax.
And wasn't the governor talking about giving some money out?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know the motivation behind this, unfortunately.
Okay. Like I said, we'll bring it up and maybe we'll craft a letter to remind our representatives that they represent us.
Good idea.
Housing zoning consultant selection, Megan.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I'm sorry I'm a bit under the weather. So RiverCOG issued an RFP on January 9th for zoning consultant services to support all of our towns in meeting the new requirements from Public Act 25-1. 6 firms submitted proposals, and our selection committee, which included some municipal planners and also RiverCOG staff, reviewed the submissions and chose 4 firms to interview. They were IMEG, Community Scale, SLR, and Weston and Sampson. And after conducting the interviews on February 18th and 19th, the committee unanimously selected IMEG to recommend to this board. We do need to get started on this project rather quickly because of the July 1st, 2026 deadline for the mandatory zoning changes. So to that end, we are asking for a motion to authorize the executive director to enter into a contract for IMEG for housing zoning consulting services for up to $200,000.
And the money we have, correct?
Yes, from the new funding through PA 25-1.
Thank you. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Dave, second? Second here. Okay, discussion?
I have an item. I just want to clarify that this is this is to help towns deal with the new mandate in Public Act 25-1 to require you to allow housing in your commercial districts. This consultant will work with your P&Zs or your zoning commissions to come up with language to amend your commercial zones to allow for this new mandated use. The stick here is not the state. The stick is developers. Because if you don't update your zoning regulations on July 1st, you could potentially have a developer come in and propose anything, and and your town may have little grounds to deny. So reputable developers are not. I don't think are going to be the problem here. It's if you have someone who may be trying to pull something over on the town. If you don't have something on the books by July 1st, it provides that opening. So that's we're working on a very abbreviated timeline here. We got a few months to help the towns get something in their regulations to be able to help regulate this use and give the town some protection.
How much time is this firm going to take? Because it's got to get to the local P&Z to be approved. How long do you think it's going to take, Megan?
So they have said that they can do the actual zoning updates by the July 1 deadline, provided that the towns sign on rather quickly. If towns opt in to participate, they still will be able to make these changes for them. However, they might not be able to do it by July 1. The other thing is that as the project is written and scoped right now, the consultant wouldn't be taking the project all the way through the adoption process. They would be working closely with the town staff and the P&Z to create recommendations, but then it would be up to the town to go through the adoption process.
Okay, maybe I wasn't. They're going to be able to bring the towns along prior to July 1st, so we make the deadline, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. All right, we have a motion. We have a second. Any further discussion?
I have one other item. So right now, the towns we've heard from already are Clinton, East Haddam, Essex, Killingworth, Middletown, Old Saybrook, Portland, and Westbrook. So please, we're going to invite everyone to the kickoff meeting. But we want to know who is in and who's out as soon as possible, so we can focus the resources obviously on the towns who want the assistance. So,
are you sending anything out? Because I got a new guy.
Yeah, no, we've been in touch with your new planner. He knows what we're doing, and we'll be in touch with him for once we have that kickoff meeting. We're hoping that we can start as soon as next week.
Okay. All right. Once again, we're all set to vote. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Digital and engagement coordinator, Sam?
I'm going to turn that over to Megan to give an update on that.
Sure. So we're happy to report that our efforts to hire a digital communications and engagement coordinator, which we started in January, were successful. After holding a competitive round of interviews, we selected Carly Kurla, who formally accepted the position on February 9th, and she'll begin work at the end of this week on the 27th. Carly is coming to us with excellent references and strong experience in public engagement, digital communications, and graphic design. Her initial work with us will focus on supporting our Shared Foundations Housing Education Program, which we've been working on through DOH, with her role expanding over time to encompass broader RiverCOG initiatives. And we are very excited to welcome her to the team, and we look forward to all of the expertise and the opportunities that having her here will bring.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, Janice, hazardous household waste. You're still muted.
So
There you
sorry there.
That's all right.
Good morning, everybody. Just a quick update that we have our schedule set for the April through October season. We'll be starting in Clinton at our first collection, as we typically do, and run all the way through to October. So I believe you would have gotten the flyers out now. If you need any copies, let me know. But we are going to be running shortly. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Janice? Margot, NHMP update.
Okay, good morning, everyone. First off, the Natural Hazard Mitigation Plan update, and I just want to let everyone know that we have our second public information meeting, which will be held next Wednesday, March 4th at 6 p.m. via Zoom. The announcement has been sent out to all of your towns, and I think all of you got it with the documents for today. So if you could please either link to our website where we have it up, or post it on your own websites and social media, and post it in your townwide emails to let everyone know that that's happening. That would be greatly appreciated.
Okay, any questions on that? LCRLT update.
Okay, for the land trust update, let's see, we had 3 submissions for the Melvin Woody Lower Connecticut River Conservation Board, and we did select one. The board selected one, which I'll tell you about it next time, because we have not quite gotten in touch with the recipient yet, and I'm not sure if the person who submitted it wants to keep it a surprise until we award them or not. So I'm going to hold off on letting you know who that is. And then we have tentatively scheduled the summer hybrid meeting with Brian Hess, the Deep Wildlife from the Deep Wildlife Division, on the update to the state's Wildlife Action Plan for July 16th for a 5:30 dinner, 6 p.m. presentation. And we're also working on scheduling a meeting for municipal planning and zoning staff and municipal land trust board members with the National Park Service on the conservation planning tool that we've been developing with them. And that's it for the land trust.
Any questions for Mark? Okay, moving on. Margot, invasive species.
Okay, I want to let everyone know that the Army Corps Connecticut River Hydrilla Project has received appropriations, so that they will be continuing that project through the summer. I'm hoping that pending permitting, they will be working with Middletown and for Pamachia Pond and East Hampton with Lake Poketapog. So hopefully those will get treated this year. But it is permitting is pending, so we don't exactly know when those will come through, but we have our fingers crossed. And there should also be funding to start working on the necessary planning documents for the cost share program that you remember we applied to Army Corps for. I want to say last September, but I think it was the September before, for the 50-50 cost share for help with aquatic invasive species mitigation. So we'll keep our fingers crossed on all of that, and I'm hoping that that program can start not this summer, but next summer.
Any questions? Any questions? Thank you. Margot, Marcos, RWA Lunch and Learn.
Yes, good morning. Thank you. I wanted to touch on two items, the Lunch and Learn and the March workshops. So first of all, thank you for everybody being flexible with the Lunch and Learns. We postponed the meeting due to weather, so it was going to be on Tuesday. It's now scheduled for this coming Friday, the 27th from 12 to 1. It'll be at our offices. We'll have food. There'll be a virtual option. I sent an invitation out earlier, but I just wanted to give a quick recap. So our guest speaker is going to be Dave Aldridge. He's the executive director of SCARA, which is the Southeastern Connecticut Regional Resources Recovery Authority. It's an RWA that's been in existence since 1984. Part of the DEEP RWA grant is exploring options for joining an existing RWA. So we thought having Dave come and kind of talk about how the RWA was established, really get down to brass tacks with tonnage and prices and how it works with the 12 member municipalities would be insightful. So I'm going to put the link here. If you could RSVP again for this Friday and let me know if you'd like to attend. Like I said, there'll be a virtual option also, and I'll send the codes out for that later. We encourage you to bring your public works director or team if you want them to come and hear the news directly from Dave if they're interested in attending. So we hope you can join us. So let me drop that link in the chat.
Assuming they're not, dead from all the snow that we're getting.
Right. And then, so then for the March workshops and site visits, so that's been scheduled for March 9th. This is in support of the DEEP RWA study that we're doing. Thank you to your public works staff who we coordinated and already established what sites we're going to visit. So thank you, just a blanket thank you to the public works staff for working with us to facilitate the site visits. So for that week, we're going to have 3 days of site visits and 3 days of workshops. The consultant's going to be able to get that all done in that week. So for the workshops, so I've sent a couple of invitations, but a quick summary is that these are time intensives. They're like 2 hours. They're in-person events. They're meant to help identify your priorities, explore some regional options, and talk about concerns with working together across town lines. Food will be provided. And we've also extended an invitation to the town's sustainability committees. And we've asked that they send one rep. So only one of them. We ask that they reach out to you and your public works department to coordinate before the meeting. So sent them a separate email. They're supposed to figure out amongst themselves who they want to be the rep, and then they'll reach out to you so they can get on the same page for the meetings. I'll do just a quick highlight review. We've broken up the region into 3 cohorts, kind of based off of geography and where waste streams are already going. So there's the southern cohort, the northern cohort, and the eastern cohort. This is all going to get sent out again in another email, but I'll just high level stuff here. The southern cohort is meeting at the Old Saybrook Pavilion Tuesday, March 10th, 3 to 5 p.m. The northern cohort is meeting at Wesleyan on Wednesday, the 11th, at 2 to 4 p.m. And the eastern cohort is meeting at Gillette Castle at the Visitor Center on Thursday, March 12th, 10 to 12. And I'll put a RSVP link in there. And as we get closer, we're going to send out more reminders. Janice and I have an open door policy. If you have any questions or have any follow-up comments, Brennan, I think I still owe you another phone call to get caught up. So, if you have any questions or need anything from us, feel free to reach out.
Any questions from Marcos? Okay, thank you. Sam, you got anything you'd like to add?
Sure. So a financial report as of January 31st, the council had completed 7 months of fiscal year 2026, and overall spending is within the parameters of the adopted $3.1 million budget. As of the end of January, our Liberty bank account balance was $144,936.76. and our STIF account totaled $1,689,311.49. As mentioned earlier by Sally, we are working to finish our audit for last year, and hopefully this will be our last extension that we'll have to request, and it'll be done in March, and we'll have the auditors present at the March meeting, if not at a special meeting earlier in the month, if that is necessary. Another thing that's coming up is the Commissioner of DOT is asked to come to a RiverCOG meeting and meet the CEOs. He is asked to come to the April meeting, which will be in person. The location of that is yet to be decided, but Vicky will be working on securing a venue and figuring out if it will be at RiverCOG's offices or somewhere else. In advance of that meeting, we have been asked if there's any specific things that the CEOs would like the commissioner to come prepared to speak about or to address. So if you have questions or ideas, you can tell me now, or you can email me. I'll probably send an email out to all of you to ask for ideas for things you'd want him to talk about. Obviously, we have some big projects in the region. We just submitted a letter of support for a grant application for DOT for paying for the removal of lights on Route 9 as a major project for the region in Middletown. There's, of course, a number of other transportation-related things I'm sure that you have comments about, including the shoveling of bus stops on state roads. So if any of you have any thoughts, questions, ideas for the commissioner, that please get them to me, and we'll get them to his staff to make sure he's prepared to speak on them.
Thanks, Sam.
Yep.
Does anyone have anything for the good of the council?
Oh, I have one addition as well. So the staff of the 9 COGs working together did an amazing job going through the new Public Act 25-1. And they went through the portions of the act that directly impact the COGs and impact towns. That document has been sent out to you. And I want to thank Megan Juflis, our deputy director, who was one of the leaders of that effort. So thank you, Megan, for your good work on that. And it was an excellent example of cooperation across the COGs of the state. And we're hoping to keep that collaboration of staff going forward as we all deal with these mandates from Hartford.
Okay. Again, does anyone have anything for the good of the council?
So,
Yes, Martha.
Cindy's probably got it. I talked to her yesterday.
Okay,
Yep, and that's
Cindy.
exactly why I had my hand up too, Martha. Either you can go or I can go, either way.
No, you start and I'll fill in the gaps.
Okay. Well, Martha emailed a couple of us yesterday asking what we were budgeting to be in compliance with the DOJ ADA. It's the Title II of the Americans Disability Act of rule regarding ADA accessibility on our websites and mobile apps. So this is a huge thing. We are mostly, as far as our populations go in the COG, we mostly fall under the April 26, 2027 deadline to be in compliance with this rule. So perhaps the COG, and I guess we can talk about this in executive committee too, perhaps we can discuss assisting our municipalities with policy, with software selection to be in compliance. Our website's being updated, our platform, Civic Plus platform is going to be obsolete. It's called Drupal 7. Now we're going to be transitioning into their, another platform. We're in the process of training, but in consideration of this, we also, in discussions with Civic Plus, talked about Audio Eye, which is a software that helps you to be in compliance with this and monitors on a regular basis. Too much to talk about right now. It's a little pricey, so perhaps we can look at different softwares, and we decided when we're transitioning not to sign on with Audio Eye because of the expense. So something that we all need to be paying attention to and looking at, and perhaps we can all work together on solutions to be in compliance.
Okay.
Martha?
Martha, you got anything you want to add?
Thank you.
Now, there are a number of sites that say that they'll do a free audit of your website, but I'm looking at cost anywhere between $3,000 and $25,000 per website to be analyzed and help you find your glitches. And Civic Plus is, of course, willing to jump in and provide you with more services. Every time they change us or upgrade us, those are just more pages and other things that we have to become compliant with. So I'm almost ready to just take the website down and not have to deal with it. But it is going to be extremely costly and time consuming, almost, that our website people will have to be on it nonstop. And that is a problem as well. It's additional staff.
Okay, thank you very much. Anyone else?
Yeah, Tony.
Yeah, Carl.
So when we were developing our budget this year, we looked at this also, the same issue. And my IT guy, I just asked him if he was in. He's on the Baldwin Bridge. He's about to be in. He's not here yet. I was going to have him pop on, but we are doing this. I think we're going live with it very shortly, actually, that we're going to be ADA compliant. It was a little bit more money. I mean, I don't know what we're talking about in terms of, for a smaller budget, it certainly is expensive. But my recollection was it was $5,000 to $7,000 a year, maybe something like that. And I don't know. I'm happy to again volunteer Larry, but I think we're all in on that, and I think it's going to get done very shortly. So, and it's also with that same platform that Cindy, that you were using up in Chester. So, I'm happy to share what information we have on it and what we did and what we're doing, so that you can see, and also the cost.
We appreciate that, Carl. Thanks. Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay, second. Martha, thank you. All right, I'm sure no one objects. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No one opposed. Everybody have a great day. Go shovel your sidewalks and other things.
Bus stops.
I wasn't going to say it, Sam. Everybody have a great day. Stay safe.
Bye.
Thank you.
Too.
Bye.